Hi, welcome back to the channel. If you've been following my videos for a while, you'll know that I always try to put a smile on everybody's face. Maybe the content that I'm delivering isn't always the most uplifting, but I always try to leave you with something that makes you feel warm-hearted, maybe puts a little smirk on your face. And in the early days when I was making my videos, I looked for press articles, stories that I thought were amusing, that would give you that little bit of fat satisfaction and leave you thinking, yeah, that was quite good fun. And I thought it was worth revisiting some of those stories. So in today's video, I'll share with you some of them. And please accept my apologies in advance for the quality of the audio and the video here. These were in the early days when I was making videos, so I didn't have a proper camera, I didn't have the proper lighting, I didn't even have a microphone in some of these videos. But I think the stories are quite amusing and hopefully you'll enjoy it and it will put a smile on your face.
And finally today, I wanted to talk about marketing. Now, marketing is obviously a really important part of anybody's business, and particularly so if you're high profile, if you've got a brand or a name that everybody is familiar with. And Gwyneth Paltrow falls into that bracket. So Gwyneth Paltrow has been a massive star in Hollywood for a long period of time. She stars in the Marvel movies, she's Tony Stark's right-hand woman, but she's been in lots of blockbuster movies. But that wasn't enough for Gwyneth Paltrow. She wanted to create her own brand and market her own business. And in 2008, she made her first steps in doing that when she created a newsletter and started talking about diet and health and lifestyle. And a turning point in her business came when she had a chat with Peter Arnold, who's a marketing executive, and he joked to her that all internet companies had to have double O in their name. So she took her initials, GP, squeezed a couple of O's in the middle and created her brand GOOP. And GOOP has been expanding and growing over the last 10 years or so. It started life focusing on diet and health and recipes and cookbooks, but has since expanded into fashion and skincare and beauty and lifestyle products. And it's those lifestyle products that I wanted to focus in on today, and particularly candles. So if you want to sell a candle for a huge amount of money, what's the best strategy? How do you convince people to pay $75 for a candle? That is an extortionate amount of money. When you look into what it costs to make a candle, it's relatively cheap. So this is a high margin product. And a lot of firms are selling candles for $20, $30, $40, which is still pretty expensive. But if you want to sell a candle for $75, you need to put something unique into that candle. You need to come up with some form of marketing that makes this extra special and that people want to talk about it and buy it. And Gwyneth Paltrow has managed to do that by coming up with outrageous names for her outrageously expensive candles. And she's just launched her very latest version. Now, you may have heard of this before. You may be familiar with Gwyneth's candle concepts, but I wanted to talk you through the 5 most outrageous candle names and most outrageously priced candles that Goop sell. So at number 5, we've got a candle that doesn't really have that much of an outrageous name. It's called Slightly Bitter. And the concept around this branding is that it relates to relationships. And as you'll know, famously, Gwyneth Paltrow went through a decoupling exercise with Chris Martin, the musician from Coldplay. And Slightly Bitter, I think, relates to this whole relationship thing. But $85 for this candle does look quite expensive. Number 4 on the list is This Smells Like My Prenup, which doesn't make any sense at all because a prenup doesn't have any smell. But the branding and the marketing around this is genius because Gwyneth Paltrow has managed to link a candle to a prenup, as if this is something to do with getting married and having a prenup and all the things relating to that. And again, the price of this has come in at $75. Number 3 on the list is This Smells Like My Orgasm. Now, I don't know what this candle smells like. I haven't got one. I've never smelt it. But even if I had one, I'm not entirely sure what I would expect this to smell like. And also, I don't know whether this relates to my orgasm or Gwyneth Paltrow's orgasm. It's not quite clear. It doesn't say in the small print. But either way, it's a genius piece of marketing and it's retailing for $75. Number 2 on the list is the brand new product that's just been launched, which is called Hands Off My Vagina. Now, I'm not sure what hands off my vagina is meant to smell like. It isn't really a smell, is it? It's just a statement. And to be fair to Gwyneth Paltrow, there is some form of link to charity here. This candle has been directly related to a lot of news about abortion that's been in the press. So again, another brilliant piece of marketing by Gwyneth Paltrow and her firm GOOP, because they've got this candle into the press and on the front pages of a lot of publications. And it's retailing for $75. And number one on the list is the single most famous candle in the world. This smells like my vagina. Again, I don't own one of these candles. I don't know what it smells like. And again, I don't know whether it's meant to smell like my vagina or Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina. It's not stipulated. But as it's retailing at $75, I won't be finding out anytime soon. This is not something that I've got on my birthday or Christmas present list for this year. And finally today, an embarrassing story from the second largest energy provider in the UK. This is a company called OVO Energy, and it decided to send out some advice to its customers on how to keep warm during the winter without turning the thermostat up. So this was meant to be useful advice to all the customers as to what they could be doing to save some money this winter. But it seems that the person who wrote the blog that was sent to 5 million customers was either having a bad day or just had a very twisted sense of humour. So the 10-point plan included eating oatmeal or porridge, wearing an extra jumper, cleaning the house, having a cuddle with your pets or a loved one, doing a few star jumps, and challenging your kids to a hula hoop competition. The reaction to this in the UK has been pretty negative. There's a lot of older customers who are saying that they're unable to do star jumps and that their children are now too old to challenge to a hula hoop competition, and they don't have any pets because they've all died. The chief executive of OVO has come out and apologised to all the customers and said that somebody just had a bad day when they wrote that blog. So I'm not entirely sure who wrote this blog and why it was done, but it put a smile on my face and I thought I'd share the news with everybody on the channel. And finally today, I'll finish up with a story about KFC. The KFC has almost 6,000 restaurants in China. So it's a really big fast food operator. Like all fast food operators, it decided to run a promotion to support some of its kids' meals. Now this is something we're very familiar with. We see McDonald's and Burger King doing these sort of things all the time. So KFC teamed up with a Chinese manufacturer called Pop Mart, who makes Dimu dolls. Now I'll show you some images of Dimu dolls, and they're very popular in China. And one of the reasons that they're so popular is that they sell mystery boxes. So you buy a Dimu doll, but you don't know what you're buying. It's a surprise when you open it. So KFC thought that this would be a great idea. They would include these mystery boxes as part of their meal deals. And this proved to be a roaring success with consumers. And actually, people started going crazy over this concept. In fact, they started going so crazy that there were queues forming outside of KFCs and people were buying massive amounts of these meal deals. It was reported that one customer purchased 106 meal deals for a total cost of $1,649. Everybody became obsessed with the toys and nobody was interested in the food. So a lot of people were buying these meal deals and then dumping the food. Now the store managers started limiting the amount of meal deals that people were able to buy. And there were stories of consumers waiting outside stores and paying people to go in and buy more meal deals for them so they could get more of these Dimu dolls. So it was a complete craze, which you would think would be good news for KFC and they'd be quite happy with the extra promotion. However, unfortunately for KFC, last year, the Chinese authorities decided to crack down on food wastage. And they identified the fast food operators as retailers who were promoting waste and encouraging people to buy more food than they needed. So you can imagine what the reaction has been. And the China Consumers Association has come out and now asked for everybody in China to boycott KFC. So what was meant to be a celebratory promotion recognising KFC's 35-year history in China and what they thought was going to be a hugely successful campaign has now actually backfired, and they've now got everybody boycotting the KFC stores in China. So a complete disaster for all of these marketeers. They came up with what they thought was a great concept. It was unfortunately far too successful. Everybody went insane over the Dimu dolls, and now they've been left with potentially a black hole in their sales for the next few weeks. So I thought that was worth mentioning, because in business sometimes you can be too successful for your own good.